President w'Anglia ya Ukraine bamwikirize yagamba yabuganaho n'aba European Union ya addressinga na NATO yabagira ngo ayineshyenega nakashanga kandi ayino butashemererwa okushanga ngo nyuma bazyo abo mukago ogwa NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, beikirize ngo Ukraine by the way harakabeka hango NATO eikirize ngo Ukraine neza kuba memba ya NATO. Bemwe omubiru kugiteza Russia nabugira ngo ekabane yenda kuba memba ya NATO. Nyuma abazyo Secretary General wa NATO Jens Stoltenberg achituterira mushananko mwaneko yachitworeka butununke drum ya muguta ngo buzimazima Ukraine neza kuba memba ya NATO. But the question is when? Volodymyr Zelensky, president wa Ukraine, aligira inechenega ari kugambita kano mushenyi agumize ngo cyamushasha itsachi describing as absurd and unprecedented okushanga ngo tubatiroho timetable Ukraine neza kuba ryari memba ya NATO. Konka hachire kuza kuba memba wa NATO no yetaga a two-step formula. Mwene bagizire ngo ahabwo kutaka munonga kwa Ukraine twagiyambaho first step twaje batambusya. First step ne twale myaka 2 mwene jo baje batambukize. So ekirukumayisa esha yona Ukraine nezo mukago gwa NATO. Konka America erukukize ku sponsoring mukago gwa NATO hamwe na Germany bagizire ngo tuta Ukraine mukago gwa NATO obwo erya rutaro na Russia dero rwo rutaro nduba rutaba orwa NATO ngo wagambe shonga ejo ni Germany. America jete cyo tshuru kubasika tihino kutuli kuta Ukraine omurutaro omukago gwa NATO ekirya harutaro aboko cyo cyamasango automatically cha driving the whole of NATO okuza omurutaro, which is very dangerous. So aho hakabire no bakora hoki bagize ngo baza kongera ku supplyinga Ukraine n'Urwanso okurangu yaza kuba memba ya NATO urutaro yaba yarusingwire ninga Russia yapondokire. Ukraine's future is in NATO. Ukraine's future is in NATO. The leaders nuko badeclare ngire nyuma bazyo omurukiko abamahanga aga NATO bishirize ngo buzimazima nyensya ya Ukraine tine handa hweri eryo omwekago ogwa NATO. Bagizire bati we will be in a position to extend an invitation to Ukraine to join the alliance when allies agree and conditions are met. Nuko barangirire ngo buzumazuma itwe ebwirano buza kushika nutweta Ukraine kuba memba ya NATO. Konka ba members bona ba NATO nibatekwa ko banza bikirizana kandi obukwakurizo barukuza kutaho Ukraine ebanze yabwishiriza. NATO did drop a requirement for Ukraine to fulfill what is called membership action plan, effectively removing a hurdle on Chief's way into the alliance. No step ibiri. So ekiba rukweta the membership action plan erukweta emyaka 2 rather ejoba jiroho ekirukumanyisa ngo bagitambusa the first hurdle konka ninjirako bakakabokuri kugira ngo itakayo omba munonga konka cyo orutaro rw'abantu gendo misho terukuza kuza omukagwa NATO kurigera rya America okwegambire kandi na Germany kagira ngo aho ntwatwaza mukabeka hango ntwatwaza kurwana na Russia. Nabwo cyo nyenda kugambira ngo Belgium na Italy, Bulgaria na Latvia, Croatia na Lithuania, Czech Republic na Luxembourg, Denmark na Netherlands, Estonia na Poland, Finland na Portugal, France na Romania, Germany na Slovakia, Greece na Slovenia, Hungary na Spain, hamwe na Albania, Canada, Iceland, Montenegro, North Macedonia, Norway na Turkey, United Kingdom na United States, Austria na Cyprus, Ireland, Malta hamwe na Sweden. Abo bona bateberezwa abamwe batuyiro mukago kandi yo Sweden bashire bagishiriza mwene mbera terino nje batoreka President Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. na Secretary of I beg your pardon na NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg bagira ngo nibetaga ahansharo zo mukago gwa NATO at the Eastern Flank waba notora Russia aho omukago amahanga gari na Russia nibenda kufitaho abasirikale emitwaro 30 abarabe bari kutura are standby class 1, the highest level of military readiness, kugira ngo kwako bahine cyo kwetenyesa babe bari harubulindara abo bari kutanakiraho nibako abatari basirikale bonka hakwetaga ebyoma navy assets, ebyoma byo kutomo emeri endwani obana submarines nabone bazakubitaho kandi nacyayitaga fire power iri kumacinga na those numbers nibazako bideployinga kandi bagarikire barahiro mwasha wankiri ngo obulemezo bu neto eine hati obwere kutekwa kurugayo ekaba solid, ekaba rock solid, ekagira ngo ekahama nkorukiri, the commitment yabe ekaba iron clad ni towards Russia and terrorism. So NATO nereba Russia as a threat to peace in Europe and to the entirety of NATO, kandi garike reba terrorism ebikorwa by'obuzamuki at that same level ibara kufitaho Russia ibara kutekwa okwanganga nabyo. Reka tubirebe babiri bashutamira mu rembo rwa Lithuania orwa Vinnytsia barufite mempenda habe nakugambira ibyo. Reka tubirebe.
Under our new plans, NATO aims to have 300,000 troops at high readiness, including substantial air and naval power. Robust deterrence and defense requires a robust industrial base. So leaders endorse the new Defense Production Action Plan. This will accelerate joint procurement, boost interoperability, and generate investment and production capacity. To do all this, we need to invest more in defense. Our latest estimates show that defense expenditure by European allies and Canada will increase by 8.3% in 2023. This is the biggest increase in decades. Since 2014, they will have invested an extra $450 billion in defense. 11 allies now reach or exceed the 2% benchmark, and we expect this number will rise substantially next year. Today, allies made an enduring commitment to invest at least 2% of gross domestic product annually in defense, and to do more urgently to meet their commitments. NATO leaders also addressed China. China is not our adversary, and we should continue to engage. But Beijing's increasing assertiveness affects our security. China is increasingly challenging the rules-based international order, refusing to condemn Russia's war against Ukraine, threatening Taiwan, and carrying out substantial military buildup. China's nuclear modernization is unprecedented in speed and scale, and being carried out with no transparency. Allies agreed to continue working together to protect against China's coercive behavior. And tomorrow we will meet the leaders of Australia, Japan, New Zealand and South Korea, as well as the European Union, because we are stronger and safer when we stand together.
23 ezatambuka shamukaga program ne yetwa Sky Express okuruga shamukaga okuta shamushanju Monday to Friday kandi yabale kuguma nitwe. Now ngikuru wihanga rya Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky arugire yayine kinega no bareba mugambira mazima ngo Ukraine neza ko bamemba ya NATO konka rugire yo atashemerirwe kandi okumanya ngo ensege gumire amahanga gatine mani agarukushangwa buturuku izoba bwa Europe towards Russia gogagizire ngo no muyikirize Ukraine ebe memba ya NATO now ahabwo kuba tuchitware with the sense of urgency kwere kuba memba ya NATO now echo nico kirije okuzibira Russia kugumana attacking Ukraine echo manyongo Russia ngo Ukraine yaba memba ya NATO. An attack on single member means an attack on every member. Nabwo ekito ntwikiriza ngo Ukraine ebe memba ya NATO echo Russia neza kutinira kimwe tekwenda rutaro na NATO netina NATO neza kureka kurumba Ukraine neza kureka kurumba Ukraine. Russia has been fighting Ukraine to deter the NATO expansionism towards Russian borders. America gizire twasham imwe kwenda ngo Ukraine ebe memba ya NATO now. Muri baba ronda murubaba katara na Germany tunanye kwenda kubireba umuneto Germany ni hanga ry'abana munonga nirushashire sente buri hanga ni rutere 2% ya GDP then barundana bagura ibyoma bakutendeka amahe bakora ki America Cheremanyi Germany Cheremanyi bagira ngo hapana mwegenesereze ishikuruka statwikiriza ngo twakubatambusi aho grade emwe twabatomo grade ya kabiri barakakuba ba member barakakuba ba member ba NATO konkata bahereza timetable this year oba next year. Zelensky yarugayo arukucwera arukuryo buhuka ikibuzo kiringo Ukraine kuyo kuzomu kagogwa NATO now Russia ekarekeraho okurumba Ukraine. Russia kuyo kugumiza munerumba Ukraine. NATO ready okuinvoking the Article 5 kugira ngo an attack on one member is an attack on every member. The peribus ad annum, one for all for one. Echo nicho basika mwena ho batinire bagira ngo reka turebe waranarangirira titwenka NATO China turukugireba nka enemy koreka ntuza gukora cyo nakiri kwasika kuvugana ba South Korea na Japan na Australia na Gandhi okorango China ogumane yongera kukoreberwa no bya nuclear a speed yechika cha yuguru na mane gabyo kandi ataro transparency yona International Atomic Energy Agency takwikizwa kuze kubareba kandi kagaruka ikenda koze samani okujoga jogo bahango bujetolire atecho turukuza kushishiriza icyo tukuza kushishiriza abo n'abaneto. Now Zelensky nagira ngo buzumazama bamutira hansi. Zelensky nagira ngo bamutira hansi. Ezine shongo zibagambireho bwa nyuma ya Volodymyr Zelensky wa Ukraine no kugira ngo abire disappointed abirayi n'amasikongo baza kumuheza timetable ngutandika kole kineki umwaka gutena guti obe member wa NATO amahanga g'abajungu gonageraganise ngo baza kuongerayo ebirwaniso a broader package of support okurango bahereza eryanyi ry'ekijasi ry'amani okurango finally Ukraine yanganga Russia yagitambuka. Chancellor wa Germany Olaf Scholz agizire ngo mukagogwa mahanga agamakolero na democracy agamana mushanjo G7 nubo barugyo bakora cyo nakiri kubasika okurango bataho batandika a long term support yo kurango habaho obusinge G7 neza gukora cyo nakiri kubasika kurango habaho obusinge hagati ya omuri Europe yona barukurango Russia ti yaba bulemeza konka ngo mbwire butari bwahari Germany yagizire ati ombwire butari bwahari in the near term ombwire butari bwahari yitwenka government ya Berlin Germany twaza kurondera yo Ukraine katurebe twaza kurondera Ukraine abana abanura bakabateganisa munonga mbwenu yitwenka government ya Berlin Germany nyonka Prime Minister Olaf Scholz ningira ngo tubahereze yo miliyoni rushanju nshanju nemwe eza dola abege nizo miliyoni rushanju eza euro eza zobayambe in military assistance turebe echo kokora tuzo musentezo miliyoni rushanju nshanju nemwe za dola twaza kubahereza yo 2 Patriot missile system launchers Patriot launchers ibiri twagaruka twabahereze motoka birukurwana ebakweta MADA the MADA infantry fighting vehicles tuzakubahereza yo 10 katubongere yo na Leopard vehicles and 25 Leopard 1 hamwe na motoka ndwane za Leopard twine Leopard 1 na Leopard 2 katubahereze yo 25 mugende muze kurwana na Russia nuko twabasa gukora tutyo Leopard and one Leopard 25 MADA IFVs infantry fighting vehicles 10 hamwe na launchers za Patriot advanced capabilities ibiri zibayambere turoktora twaze kandi yo Denmark hamwe na Netherlands bazire mutwaza kwebembera amahanga 11 okongera kuyamba turaje ngo noende nyonyi za F16 za America okatujya ngo noende nyonyezo hati twaza kuyamba oine ba pilot barakumara tukagira butatanga kufutendeka ho next year ngwecyo ntuza kuchikolera mwenu reka tubirebi. tutakashire aho ahabwo kwetantara Russia no manya Russia nyoma bazyo erumbere Ukraine mu Rembo Kiev batireyo drone za Irani Shahid 1360 za kamikaze drone ngo batire yuko 15 Ukraine nyoma baze birengizire ngo zona shoot is interceptingire konkati bangambira jamazima ngo twasoro hiko menemwe yina zasaga zato zagwisakagwe mbwenu okongera koreka Russia ngo we are not seated ubabire bashutamire omumukago gwa NATO obugengura bw'amahanga aga NATO habire hari yenyonyi embisi eza F16 eza F35 enyonyi za F22 eza America ziyaguriza ba NATO zona obugengura the airspace the jets from the allied forces nizo zibire zikumira obugengura okurangutine muntu nomwe owa penetrating mu airspace ya NATO ubundi rashitaka gwisaka gweka bacwechereza barukubuganira mu Lithuania so obugengura bubire bukumirwe ko kuwarebe byomebyo reka bongere babikwere.
We are in a left-hand turn, then 070. When nose is called, switch is safe. You're clear to join echelon left.
Let's go, switch is safe, going to echelon left.
So obugengurano ko bire buru protected butyo the whole of yesterday and today kandi buri nyonyi yona iryo mu bugenguro mu mpaho ebirere armed to the teeth taro kuzana zana aho president wa Bufaransa nahaye miraka gira ati mbwene nareba president wa Ukraine na Etombo itamunonga no reba America ibiri yahayire nguneza ku supplyinga cluster munitions nubwo amahangiga na 20 ebirwanise by'amahangiga na 20 bagisire ngo tuturugaraka ko bikora no kubikozesa konka yo Russia birane bikozesa muri Ukraine na Ukraine iri kubikozesa muri America agira ngo hatike ku supply kemu supplying ebiru kumara Secretary General Jonathan Neshaya America najya neza ko bitayo kuko bano biru byo kose bw'itaka rya Ukraine atekuza kubikosa ahitaka ryo ndijo muntu nebikosa itaka ryayo ko defendinga enemy ari ko bikozesa mwene president wa France Emmanuel Macron agize ati buzumazuma nibagambira ngo nanye kambe nkabungereza nanye naza kusupplyinga long range missiles as a scalp no manya bungereza ikaragira ngo bahereze yo missile za long range kandi zakora umurimo urashagira ngo ikashootinga down agira ngo it's okay shooting down konka zirwone zikora umurimo gwazo so Bufaransa nayo iraganishe okohereza yo long range missiles zikakuyamba hari Ukraine. So finally nuko kugambira Ukraine ngo buzimazima ntukugambira ohumure nturebo ine kinega kugira ngo tutwakugambira ubwo rabememba wa NATO konka kikuru kiringu Ukraine will join NATO.
NATO heads of state and government took important decisions at a critical moment for our security. We welcome Finland as a full-fledged member of the alliance, and we look forward to welcoming Sweden as a full member of the alliance based on the agreement I reached last night with President Erdogan and Prime Minister Kristersson. We also addressed Ukraine. Since we last met a year ago at our Madrid summit, NATO allies have delivered unprecedented support to Ukraine with more ammunition, more modern equipment and more training to the Ukrainian forces. Today, allies have agreed a package of 3 elements to bring Ukraine closer to NATO. First, a new multi-year assistance program for Ukraine to enable the transition from Soviet era to NATO standards, training and doctrines, to help rebuild Ukraine's security and defense sector, and to cover critical needs like fuel, demining equipment and medical supplies. Second, a new NATO-Ukraine Council, a forum for crisis consultations and decision-making, where we will meet as equals. And I look forward to having the inaugural meeting of the Council tomorrow with President Zelensky. Third, we reaffirmed that Ukraine will become a member of NATO and agreed to remove the requirement for a membership action plan. This would change Ukraine's membership path from a 2-step process to a 1-step process. We also made clear that we will issue an invitation for Ukraine to join NATO when allies agree and conditions are met. This is a strong package for Ukraine and a clear path towards its membership in NATO. Allies have also approved the most comprehensive defense plans since the end of the Cold War. These are designed to counter the 2 main threats we face, Russia and terrorism.
Omugambirizi wa governmenti ya Russia omu ministry y'enshonga zaheru bamweta Maria Zakharova. Maria Zakharova natugira ati iki Europe iri kwenda neza kukibona ati ninyenda television zono kwetororesi yona zebuze kibuzo kimwe Ukraine tetahane nangwe bememba ya NATO ahabwenki batakugishiriza Ukraine kaniyo yabandize kushaba kuba memba ya NATO ahabwenki abajungu bakanga bayishiriza Finland bagaruka bishiriza Sweden not Ukraine atubura umuntu achebuze ahabwenki Ukraine kashaba Finland yashaba na Sweden ahabwenki Ukraine bagirekire bataho Sweden na Finland ati ntwe nango echo mukimanye aba NATO okuzaho bakesirwaza bakashombe birwanso bakabireta ahasharo za Russia ngo kirize kubarugiramu number 1 Europe niyo yarabanze kwaka in case of war mu muzo mukagogwe konka eshaha yo naho rurabereho ahurura abarukire yimwe European zirimo murabanze kusya hatunyera ko gambira Ukraine nimwe babakozesa bukozesa twakuza kubata mu kago gwa NATO tubakusigiro bakaleta Finland tubakusigiro bakaleta Sweden iwe just bakakuletinga down bakufutera hansi tubakweta agikiriya mbakozesa just Volodymyr Zelensky ine kiniga nguyangariye barigishirize to join NATO but there is no timetable yego the first hurdle ya membership action plan bajijisasire konka hwene hekore mukene twale myaka ebiri mugihireho mwene chikoma sata mwakutu emyaka ejere suspended ninga netanekeraho abwanyi bokugiho emyaka ikirukurataho so bamwimire timetable kumugambiro gwa arabe member wa NATO ayine kiniga nakashanga reka tubirebi.
Always keen to stress their unity, NATO members gathered during the second year of a war in Europe. This time those small cracks are showing which alliance leaders are working hard to overcome. Central to this meeting is the question of Ukraine's possible future membership, promised at some point, with some allies pushing for a fast-track process to begin now, while others, notably Germany and the United States, believe the time is not yet right.
We reaffirmed that Ukraine will become a member of NATO and agreed to remove the requirement for a membership action plan. This would change Ukraine's membership path from a two-step process to a one-step process. We also made clear that we will issue an invitation for Ukraine to join NATO when allies agree and conditions are met.
But that falls well short of Ukrainian expectations. President Volodymyr Zelensky got a hero's welcome in Vilnius, but en route he tweeted that anything less than a firm invitation now and a timetable for accession would be absurd, amounting to uncertainty, he said, that Russia would view as weakness.
This is the language of hesitation, and Putin understands only the language of force. So that's something which our allies should understand. But it is not a catastrophe. There is the word invitation. Ukraine will skip membership action plan stage.
Many, especially members of the alliance's eastern flank. There are other points of tension, unease over the supply of cluster munitions to Ukraine by the United States. Most NATO members are signatories to a treaty banning their use, but not Ukraine, the US or Russia. And among pledges of further military support came the promise by France to follow the UK in supplying long-range missiles to Ukraine. One potential difficulty was overcome on the eve of the summit when Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan lifted his year-long objection to formerly neutral Sweden joining the alliance. 31 members will soon become 32, NATO expanding because of the war in Ukraine, even as the war exerts pressures that test its unity.
What support for Ukraine you can see here, because NATO decides not to include Ukraine. What support are we talking about? So it seems that Ukraine, NATO members have been calling Ukraine into the Western world. At the time when Ukraine calls for help, they abandoned Ukraine. They let Ukraine down. You should see the reality instead of making up stories, and rather than repeating the statements of Secretary General Stoltenberg. And if we think about the question why Ukraine is not included in NATO ranks, it is quite interesting. They invite Finland and Sweden, but not Ukraine. Why? This is a question that should be posed at all TV channels. Why not? Because you see multi-billion financial aid is provided to Ukraine through NATO. It doesn't matter if countries are doing that together or individually. They are providing arms to Ukraine. So why not Ukraine is not a member of NATO?
Echi Ukraine iri kwendera kuraka kuzomuka gwa NATO nena ngo bundo Russia ekarekeraho kugirumba nyuma bazyo Volodymyr Zelensky bamwishirize yaba dressinga yayoreka okwayine kiniga konkataka ba dressingire naza koleka ebishane bifananyi kimu 2 3 4 5 okoleka oku Russia esisire ekashishagura ekachwechereza endembo za Ukraine. If you look at how Ukraine cities have been destroyed, ni wotoka chikunda really producer naza kututera ebishana ebyo kimwe aha kindi olebe ezabireze by'endembo hato kuzabire eje kabere site na wizo mulimbarira ekifananye ekyo nga tona kijjako nobojja wano mu mbalira ebyombe konke ebyo tutubyine okushanga ngu tuyine ebyombeko biri bityo tubiruho okushanga ngu byona bikora tine bityo na Kampala nono tukabishanga so ejo niyo destruction eriyo muri Ukraine tera kwekirala tugende mu maaso omwe haka harimo abantu tibakibamu bakiruka bahunga baza Poland kandi okumanya ngo abazungu n'abashija babi bo babona baza koleka nka Lebanon ninga Jenin refugee camp y'abaharabu ninga ezizija aho muri Uganda ninga Kenya yono bakoleka konka kuiha bahunga umuri Ukraine bakaza Poland tabakarugire kutoleka ngo mawe ngo tubine byo kurya ngo World Food Program ne yacereza kubahereza mebazi byo byabone babiyesherekera mpe kifananye kirara ekiddako ezo ndembo za Ukraine Russia ekiyazikozire nekiddako ezo wakuzibaraje ejo netalikanye nemwe ninga kanye nibiri ziba zigoma zizakanye ni 16 kandi kuni tuzikanyire kanye na mwenda uyina yakirala. Okay, so nuko the level of destruction omushayana ashabe byoma ngo bamuhereze endembo denu kanakole kibishane bya site ya birere site ya Bakhmut wagene kayo no shot mwenu watermelon karbatwar kurana. So reka turebe Volodymyr Zelensky aruko addressing abajungu abo aruko bagamira ngo ayinechenega na kashanga kushanga nyuma bazyo batamuhire formal invitation yo kujoininga NATO kandi bakamwigambira umukanongo no kuba member wa NATO konka batamuhereze a clear defined timetable.
Ponia Diana, štai prie scenos jau artėja Jonas Omanas, jį lydi
НАТО дасть Україні безпеку. НАТО сутeiks Українai saugumą. Україна зробить НАТО сильніше. Дякую за вашу допомогу нашій обороні, за вашу чітку і чесну і, що важливо, сміливу позицію щодо запрошення України в НАТО. Українські прапори на литовських вулицях однозначно доводять, ми вже союзники і Україна захистить.
Ebyo no bwabigambire tibimuyambire kandi obabire bari mu NATO mwabano yishika obu president Volodymyr Zelensky aza kubugana aba European Union akakubugana ba members ba European Union akaza akashara kabanza America na America teri member European Union yazo mu Rubongereza kuyagira mu Rubongereza yarwe yaza Bufaransa yarwe yaza Germany then yababugana abakora ba European Union obu yabirariyo Russia ekarumba orembo rwa Kyiv kacheka chero hembo homurro konka air defense systems zezibabire batungire za intercepting missiles za intercepting na drone zezibabire batire nguzo bateri so ikwale nyuma bazyo obwabire nabugana abumpaho omu Lithuania nabwo Russia egarukire yarumba exactly the same way koko bakozere last time reka tubirebe.
The sound of explosions over Kyiv, the night sky lit up by flashes. City officials say Ukrainian air defense systems intercepted dozens of Russian drones and missiles in the early hours of Tuesday. Mobile phone footage filmed by a resident shows the intensity of the attack.
We heard it all, even our windows shook, but thank God there were no missiles in our area.
My friends, my classmates and I, we heard it all. They were all worried and one of my classmates' houses got hit. I think it's terrible.
The attacks came just hours after Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky returned by train from a trip to Europe aimed at securing new weapons and support for an anticipated counter-offensive.
We are returning home with the new military help, newer and more powerful weapons for the front, more protection for our people, greater political support.
But Ukrainian troops are preparing. In the south of the country, mortar units say they're ready, but need more weapons.
We need armored personnel carriers the most, especially with the counter-offensive, because currently we use basic Jeep models which are not armored. An armored car would provide safety for our servicemen. That's what really matters.
Kyiv and its supporters hope that this counter-offensive will be successful.
Shika zampwaho webale futureba olio mulimba city na nahandi hona okwetorora enseji President wihanga erya Irani Ibrahim Raisi emyaka 11 ehingwire tine president wa Irani olizire omu Africa emyaka 11 more than a decade ago tine president wa Irani obire yizire omuri Africa mbwene kutabire turyaho twatungo kumanyisibwa ngo President Ibrahim Raisi owa Iran na ijo mu Uganda kwa rukurugo mu Uganda na za Kenya kwa kuruga Kenya na za Zimbabwe ishikangwe 2018 owabira President w'ihanga rya America ja wochitinisa John Donald Trump akataho ibakweta maximum pressure campaign kugira ngo Iran toka atensa nayo okajeshwe kokajeyara ne yetaga amani agarukererukayo yiha America umundagano yabe ne hanura nabo na namahanga 5 permanent members by United Nations Security Council then abine veto powers kugira ngo bagane nayo eyiheberwa bya nuclear endagano yabe ne etwa JCPOA the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. Now endagano jo Trump akaleba ngu Iran ebyero kugamba ne nyuka tebyero kuza kugamba netaha endagano jo ajeruga mu yonka America unilaterally yataho maximum pressure campaign yatahena tenka kali nezi President Joseph Biden hataro kwikirizubwa okwihaho empanura za gobotaka bagitahena tenkamwe yaba internationally isolated mweno Irani hateriyo neronda emekagomisia okukira munonga omumahanga aga Africa orutaya yorwe ribenduza kutandikizo bari yorwa kabiri omuyihanga rya Kenya habaho diplomatic glitches babi postponinga batandika erizobo rwa kashatu kwa rukurugo muyihanga rya Kenya yahereze kuvuga na President William Samoei Ruto bahereze no kusigninga memorandum of understanding ahabikwatiye no kwikora makolero muri Kenya kugikirize katware nyama omuyihanga rya Iran kandi Iran nayo kize kombeka amarwaliro na munonga garukora ebyinaka kwa kwate nemebazi na pharmaceutical products kwa kurugaho na za Zimbabwe na za kwereruka Uganda rukugaruka mu Rembo Tehran orwihanga area Islamic Republic of Iran.
Ibrahim Raisi has arrived in Kenya. He'll meet with President William Ruto to discuss trade. It's the first visit by an Iranian leader to the African continent in more than a decade.
از رؤسای محترم دو کشور دعوت می‌کنیم تا صحبت‌های رسانه‌ای خودشون رو بفرمایند.
Your Excellency, Dr. Ibrahim Raisi, President of Iran, honorable members of your delegation, distinguished guests, ministers present, good morning. I take this opportunity once again to express on behalf of the people, the government of the Republic of Kenya, our gratitude to His Excellency President Ibrahim Raisi and his delegation for honoring us with a visit, his first ever to Africa and the first stop on his tour to our continent. It is a special privilege to host President Raisi in Nairobi, and his presence is testimony to the strong ties between Kenya and Iran. It is also a demonstration of our shared commitment to cooperate for the benefit of the people of our two countries. I am delighted to report that President Raisi and I have just concluded highly productive bilateral discussions on a broad range of very important issues. During our meeting, I affirmed to His Excellency President Raisi the important place of Iran as a critical strategic partner for Kenya and the value that we place on the friendly and fraternal relations between our two countries. On our historical engagement and areas of cooperation in development that include education, scholarship, infrastructure, health, water, fisheries, agriculture and housing, urban and metropolitan development, among other areas, I expressed our gratitude and commitment to expand and deepen these relations. President Raisi and I had the opportunity to engage views and share ideas about emerging opportunities.
Finally, nomanya Ukraine turenesha ba enyonyi za F-16. Enyonyi za F-16 producers zinaho enyonyezo eturenezesha mango za kugiyamba kurungi munonga America kwiyo kwikiriza abo bona bazine amahanga agazine gakazisupplyinga konka nenyonyi mbisi munonga mu Africa tutukuzo operatinga izo naribo kuziramuriza tukukira kuzayo nabatweta ntatugire kuronda ezindi eze myaka 30 nyumaho eze nisya munonga za F-16 inyonyeza America ikikiriza